Leo Pareja started his career at 19 years old. He scaled to run the #1 KW agent team in the world, selling roughly 4,000 homes. I know he's going to share a bit about his story when he gets up here, so I'm not going to... So I am going to let him tell his own story, but it's not every day that you get to introduce the CEO of your own company. Reached out to Leo, and he said yes to being here. What the heck? So awesome. I'm so grateful to have him in our hometown speaking to you guys about the market, the portals, the roller coaster that real estate is. So please help me welcome to the stage Leo Pareja. We're so grateful that you said yes to being here.
I'm actually going to wander around with you guys on the floor, if that's okay. How's everybody doing? Great. As Kobe said, I started as a real estate agent. I'm the only CEO of the public traded companies that actually did this for a living. Isn't that interesting? Yes. So I spent 15 years selling houses. I started as a solo agent. I bought a market center. Can you hear me? Yes. This is an interesting way to talk. And then I scaled a team. I then started a hard money lending company when the government changed the rules around lending, so you couldn't do no income, no asset loans. One of the unintended consequences of that is it dropped all ability to borrow money from banks to even flip houses. And then as I was building that business, I came across an opportunity. Hey, what's up, Bart? From Portugal. He runs Portugal for us. And then I needed data into my LMS system, and I called a bunch of companies, and they quoted me way too much money. And Zillow was advertising that if I showed up to something called a hackathon, they would give me the data. And I didn't know what a hackathon was, but I went to Seattle, and my full intent was to hit download and go home. And they set it up so you couldn't do that. It was supposed to be read-only, and I had to build a product. And that weekend, I built what became Remind. So I don't know if you guys use Remind. I'm the founder of Remind. Co-founder, my wife, is your closing keynote. She'll tell you her story about it. But I've had this really interesting roller coaster of a career, but it's given me a really interesting perspective. So one of the things that's unique is most of the things I've said for the last 10 years have been recorded, which is a fascinating way to live. Because I get to be right in public and I get to be wrong in public, and sometimes my text messages get read during trials. So, most recently. But what's going on? So I do, like tomorrow I'm going to be in the city and I'll talk to the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, and CNN, and they always want to predict the future. So in December, I told them, I think NAR is smoking something, because they predicted a 14% year-over-year growth. And they were like, what do you think? I said, I don't know where they're going to get these numbers from. Fannie and Freddie were at 4%, and I said, we'd be lucky to hit that. My prediction in December was, if we extend the line for 2 more quarters, 4 more quarters, that's what I thought 2026 was going to be. Unfortunately, I was correct. If we zoom out at the macro, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. And the thing that I am 100% convinced of is you guys deliver human experience. Raise your hand if a customer has ever said, you know what, interest rates are perfect today. I'm ready to buy a house. Raise your hand if that's ever happened. No. Human experience happens. You live in your mom's house and you want to move out of the basement. That's household formation. Normally it's with a bunch of other humans, and then maybe you meet somebody at a bar and you want to move in with that human. And you go from that group home to 2 people, and sometimes you really like them and you make more humans with them. And then you need that 1 bedroom turns into a 2-bedroom, that turns into the single family out in the suburbs, and then they grow up and they move out, and now you're helping them clean the windows on a Saturday to get them to Florida, right? And so always remember what it is we do. How many homes did we sell last year as a country?
4 million.
It's a test question. Yes. Who said 4 million? That's right. That's my boy Todd. How many homes did we sell in 2021?
6.2.
See, 8 students. 7 million homes. So first of all, internalize what that felt like for the last 3 years. Do you guys know what percentage drop that is? 65% from top to bottom. You divide it the other way. It's actually 65%. If some of you sold X number of homes in 2022 and in 2023 and 2024, you came down 5 or 10%, you've probably beat yourself up and said, what's wrong with me? When you should be saying, holy shit, I'm crushing it. Because the rest of the market contracted substantially more than that. So first of all, if you're an EXP, you know my favorite word in the world is context. I wear hats with it and t-shirts, and I do a keynote every year called Context, because you have to give yourself some grace in this market. In January, did you know January is the single largest month of mortgage cancellations in the last 10 years? Raise your hand if you're an LO. Yeah, they had a horrible month psychologically, right? And the people around our group go, wait, let me actually Google this, and you go, wait a second, it's not me, right? There's external forces here. And so, if you look, when was the last time we sold 7 million homes prior to 2021? It's a test question.
2007.
2006, 2007. And then how many homes did we sell in 2009, 10, and 11? 4 million, right? A historically average year is 5.5 to 6 million homes. And this is the funny thing about real estate. I've been doing this for 24 years. Have any of you had an average year yet? No, it's either this or it's this, and then on a graph, you smooth it out. But when you remember that Mr. and Mrs. homebuyer who are expecting the first child, they're not worried about any of this. They can care less about portals. They just want to make sure, can I afford this house? Does this make sense for our family? And so I often say, your role is the one of a Sherpa. Right? And this actually ties in with AI and all the tech stuff that everyone's terrified about. Can you get ready to climb Mount Everest by doing research on the internet right now? 100%. You can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, if I want to climb Mount Everest 6 months from now, give me the diet, the workout routine, and the list of the best in class and most affordable gear I need so I don't die of hypothermia. True or false? When you get to the base of the Himalayas, are you going to go by yourself? Or are you going to hire that local guy who's done it 400 times? Right? Your job is to put all that stuff on that's your customers' fears, concerns, uncertainties on your back and help climb the mountain. And it's your job to stop them when you get to the top and go, you know what? This is a storm, we should probably set base camp and see if it passes. And that could be, you know, moisture in the basement or crack in the foundation. And there's a difference between a structural crack and a cellular crack. Right? And it's you guys to bring in that termite inspector, radon inspector, all of the different experts that you bring to the table to go, you know what? We should walk. This is actually not good for you, or let's get a credit, or actually it's not a big deal. We won on a multiple contract situation. You can confidently close on this house and it's probably a couple grand to fix it, right? And that's why people hire you. They hire you to decipher the information. We're actually in a world where we've created so much information. Do you know what business came back almost 30% in the last 5 years? Travel agents. Travel agents. We've created so much content and so much information that people go, shit, I don't even know where to look. It's just so much stuff. Jared James made a post earlier today. Do you guys follow Jared James? Yeah. He's a good boy. Great content. He actually said that there was a stat that came out that last year was the highest use of agents ever recorded with all the surveys. Let that sink in, right? I think the human experience is going to be at a premium with all the AI stuff. And the fascinating thing, and I joke about it because I'm a millennial dad, we're helicopter parenting our kids, and I'm pretty sure the next generation of buyers are going to want their help. So I think you guys have a very longevity in your industry as life gets more complicated. And I also have a thesis that with the rise of AI, and we can take a survey, how many of you, specifically on Facebook and LinkedIn, are you following along? Facebook and LinkedIn are connected to someone that you went to high school and you know this idiot can't string one sentence together, now writes multi-paragraphs. Raise your hand. What is the emotion that happens when you see it? What? Ew. What do you guys do? But what do you actually do? Right? Do you exchange energy with that? No. Why do you think that is? Well, what about it? Why do you not ascribe value to it? This is my theory. I think as human beings, we ascribe value to someone else's investment in time, because that is our most valuable resource. How many of you follow me on social media? The rest of you should. Is it different that I'm physically here with you guys? Yes. Right? It is, I think, the only equaling resource on planet Earth is time. Right? So when we give time to people, we value it because we know it's finite. And I think that's what's happening with communication. Right? When you see your friend make a post that was, first of all, a lazy-ass prompt into ChatGPT. They didn't even, you should use LLMs to edit your stuff, because I'm highly dyslexic, and if you have my cell phone number, half my text don't make sense. I think the one I sent you yesterday, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I said it at the time. But you can edit it with an LLM, but it's still me. If you follow me on social, that is stuff I would say. It's probably edited to make sure it's coherent. But that's what you need to lean on. So picture a world where everything is being digitized and streamlined. And do you guys know how LLMs work? It reverts to an average. So by definition, it's to a mediocre place. So, and again, this is not a political statement, but I believe in the next 3 years, we will break what we believe is real at the digital level. And I say 3 years because of an election cycle coming up. By the time the next presidential election happens, none of us will believe anything unless it's physically here. And by the way, I think that's the most beautiful thing for you as a service provider. I think the human experience is about to be at a premium. Right? So the folks who can create, in person is coming back. Right? Anything that you provide to your agent, I am scaling human experience as much as I can. Right? We're figuring out what products that we can replicate where we touch as many people in real life as possible, because that's the differentiator. Right? Especially as video and audio become easy to scale, right? There's something I say, marketers ruin everything. And let me give you an example. I'm an elderly millennial, but do you guys remember the 90s fist fighting a sibling to pick up the phone in the kitchen? Right, the green cable that you're wrapped around? How exciting was it when the phone rang? Right? Do you remember when email showed up? When we went online with America? It was so cool that Tom Hanks made a movie. Are you excited when an email comes through anymore? I haven't checked my email in 3 years anyway. Right? And then Google came out. Right? If you've heard Gary Vee rant about the early days of Wine Library down the street from you guys, he had a 68% open rate. He would buy a cold email list and send emails, and 68% of people would open it. Right? Social, I think, is beat. And this is just an opinion. Because like I said, I get to be right and I get to be wrong. Society moves like this. Right? In the late 2000s, it was very dressed up. Then we went to almost t-shirts. I think we're starting to get more formal again. Right? Everything comes and goes. What I think social is breaking is the fact that we can now create so much more content. Right? You can now, as of this week, do an integration into Meta through Claude and write a prompt. Or, by the way, if you haven't downloaded Manus, Manus AI, Manus AI, download it. It's owned by Meta, so it has all the sentiment and all the data. You can actually write a prompt, say, hey, Manus, what's going on with seller sentiment in fill in the blank town, county, city, and then create an ad, and I'm going to spend a CPM of $10 per impression. And you can launch ads like this. Right? So you always have to be willing to adjust and shift. But where you will win disproportionately is on the human experience once they get in front of you. It's being that local expert and fundamentally understanding the nuances of your submarket. and having those vendors' relationship to get that house on the market. The other thing, I've been on a 2-week tour. This is like my 8th in-person event in 3 weeks. And then after next week, I'm off, and you guys won't see me until September. Because I'm actually in Europe with our European agents. But the other subject people ask me questions about is the portals, right? A lot of conversations. I think the 2 big topics right now are consolidation and portals. I sat on stage at Inman in January down the street, and I said, I think in 3 to 5 years, there will be 3 to 5 companies of scale in the United States. And this is a new phenomenon. And I can explain the differences. So real estate has been hyper-local and boutique forever. Compass and EXP were the first national brokerages. Internalized, like Keller Williams and RE/MAX have both been massive, but independently owned and operated, right? Like the biggest RE/MAX franchisees called RE/MAX Gold, the biggest Keller Williams franchise is KW Go. Both of them are like a couple thousand agents, 3,000 to 4,000 agents. We are one single company that operates, fulfills the checks, does the work, 63,000 agents in the United States. Compass was 37,000 pre-acquisition, and with the ownership of the NRT group, it's like 52,000, so it's going to be like 80,000 agents. Before our 2 companies, and we started at similar times, they just didn't exist. You didn't have companies that cross state lines, let alone all 50 states, with technology at our core. So when you look at history in the United States, once consolidation starts, it doesn't tend to stop. So what I said on stage is, I think 3 to 5 companies will be a big piece of it, but by the way, that still leaves the long tail. I think the boutique and the small independent will always exist. It will always be a choice. I am quite passionate about MLSs, if you've ever heard my rants on the internet. It's partly because we operate outside of the United States, and outside of the United States, we don't have this beautiful system. So MLSs were an organic evolution that happened in North America. So you guys don't know the whole history of it. NAR makes us a unique industry where we can cooperate. Once upon a time, people met at the corner and exchanged listings, then it became books that we dropped off at each other's offices. And then in about 1999, a Canadian gentleman built the first version of what's Matrix. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. By the way, I'm not going to about dating. I think it's still the same shit UI. But what makes North American real estate unique was a 2-sided coin. I used to describe it as a 2-sided coin. I would say half of it is cooperative compensation, which, by the way, we lost last year. And the other side of that coin is mandatory participation. Because appreciate how weird we are. Like, we compete fiercely, true or false. Like, we are trying to cut each other's throats out. But then we turn around and be like, here's my data, I'll take your data, and we're all going to be civil to each other. It's actually beautiful. In Portugal, we don't have that. We have this horrifying company called Idealista, who charges us £50, 50 euro. Is it more? It's like 60 pounds. What is it? No, you're going to hurt my hands. Probably
80 euros
per month. When did it go up? Now I'm like shook. So in each country, there is a dominant portal, kind of like Zillow. So in England, it's called Rightmove. In Portugal, Spain, and Italy, it's called Idealista. And you have to pay, okay, you hurt my feelings, I thought it was 50. We're up to £80 or euro per month that is active. That is active. And they are a monopoly. There is no other alternative. Versus here, we all agree to cooperate, and we send them to these portals. And the portals, I'm very pragmatic about Zillow. I know I'm not Zillow's buddy, but I also like to spend hundreds of millions of dollars advertising our listings and they don't send me a bill. Because in every other country that I went into brokerage, I get a really big bill. And so what happened about 2 months ago, Redfin did a deal with Compass, and it was different in the sense that Compass agents could now say, we have a price discovery tool with the 66 million eyeballs, so you can get some exposure. What the reaction was that Zillow freaked out. No one's reporting. Zillow called me first and said, I want to do the same thing with you. And I said, what do you want? They said, we want an exclusive deal like they did. And I said, I'm not feeling exclusive. I don't see how that is beneficial. I told him, let me sleep on it. I slept on it, I called him the next day and said, I want to go non-exclusive. I want to send it to you, I want to send it to Realtor, I want to send it to Homes, I want to send it to Redfin, I want to send it to everybody. Right? Because I think my job is to expose the properties to as many people as possible. And they said, we respect you, we love you, but we're going up exclusive and you'll see who agreed. And I thought they were bluffing. I was like, there's no way everyone's going to sign. And that next morning, I woke up to my dismay, they were not bluffing. And Keller Williams, and Remax, and Berkshire Hathaway, and Side, and United all signed. And so, for the folks that are a little unclear what that means, is Zillow has this new product called Previews. You can upload it through these relationships, and it has to be exclusive, so it doesn't go to the other portals. I chose to go non-exclusive, so we send our stuff to Realtor and Homes, and then I did a deal that surprised people with Google. So I'm going to do a party check right now. Pull out your phones, not for later, for now, and search homes for sale in Miami. You too, you can play. And this is an example of what's coming, and this is how the industry's always moving. If you're at the top of the search bar, do any of you see homes, like GIFs of the properties? Scroll left and right. So, again, not all of you have that yet. They're turning on the volume slowly. If you have it, show your friends. So Google is entering the listing display. Isn't that kind of crazy? And I'm the only company that did that deal. For the record, it's not exclusive. Call your CEO, your 1P MLS, and say, Leo said that in order to get my listings to encompass all of you, I am true to my word. I want as many eyeballs as possible. I think it's the best thing for the American consumer. So I want you to tell your CEO of your MLS, give our IDX feed to House Canary so we can be on Google. Give our IDX feed to House Canary so we can also be on Google. If you go to Homes for Sale in LA, you can see what that looks like. The CRMLS already did it, and so every single listing is on the Google search bar. So this is really interesting for you guys as an opportunity. Google realized they ran out of people to market to because Redfin, Homes, and Zillow outspent all of you guys. None of you could buy impressions, true or false, right? To be in the top 3. This product is exclusively designed for realtors, and Homes, Realtor, and Redfin can compete with you guys. So if you have it and you saw it, click on a property, you can see there's an ask a question or, exactly like this. So, sorry, Jane, I hijacked your phone. So the folks that don't see it. So if you have all the listings up top, right now in every market it's live, they only have EXP feed because I gave it to them. And by the way, this is my forcing mechanism to get all the MLSs to do what I wanted them to do, which is display all your information to the most powerful search engine on the planet. But they will be selling these impressions, contact local agent. You don't have to compete with Zillow for impressions. This is being sold out of their small business unit. So I think this is a phenomenal lead gen opportunity for everybody. And again, not just for EXP, for all agents. And the other big reason I didn't want to do exclusive is because is 3 years a long time?
A long time.
I mean, you remember 3 years ago we didn't have this thing called ChatGPT? And by the way, has human behavior on how we interact changed? Right? Like, I don't know that in 3 to 5 years these portals are going to matter. Right? I think you can probably say, show me every house for sale in 33143, and it will go and find all of the coming soons and private exclusives and actives and everywhere else. So I think the world moves quickly and dynamically, but I want you to remember that what you do does not change. You help families with the most expensive, most emotionally charged, and highly infrequent transaction of their life. On average, the average American family moves 6 times. 3 is a tenant, 3 is a homeowner. Now, someone's going to be like, I've moved 22 times. Don't put your business out there. I'm talking about large averages, right? And so you're there to hold their hand and shepherd them through that moment. How much time do I have? Can I open up for Q&A or I'm done? Anybody want to ask me anything about real estate? Specifically.
What made you create that new application that you just did?
Which one?
The one that you're speaking about with Google, the merge, I mean, not that acquisition, the partnership?
Why I did the Google deal?
Yeah.
So, I believe it's my fiduciary responsibility to make sure you guys have the best tools to expose houses to the market. Right? Like, I'm a true believer in how real estate works in this country, and I think the more silos we have of information, the worse it is for the consumer. And again, I was NARB's national president. I've actually lobbied Congress. I've testified at Congress. I think that the private exclusive debate is weapons of mass destruction when it comes to fair housing. I just don't know how we're going to look at Judge in the eye one day and go, we removed this stuff and kept it here, and he couldn't see it, and how we didn't harm people. I did this 4,000 times. I've actually spoken to testers from HUD. Like, I don't know how some people are going to answer questions under oath one day.
Preach.
And by the way, when the trials come and I get to post, how do you think I'm going to look? I've been quite loud about how I feel about this. And if you watch the NAR trial, the CEOs of the companies who lost had videos of them telling you how to take a 6% commission, how to defend your commission. So I'm quite aware of what's coming, and I have a very open and notorious stance on how I feel about it. Questions? Any more questions? Yes, sir.
As we start to go to the future, what do you think that most agents are looking for as a whole in the brokerage to be getting from their?
That's a great question. I'll repeat it if you didn't hear it. As we go into the future, what are agents looking for in brokerage? And I fundamentally believe this. I think you can't be all things to all people, right? I believe the real estate industry is bifurcating into 3 categories. Again, I very passionately don't assign judgments. I think brand first is one category, and I would put all of Compass International Holdings plus Berkshire Hathaway and like Houlihan, like those like local institutional brands. On the other side of the spectrum, I would put United, Fathom, LPT, like the flat fee, fill in the blank, every market has one. The middle, and the credit goes to Dave Lineker. So if you guys don't know the history, C21 Coal Banker, first national franchise brands to spread across the country, eating everybody's lunch at the local independents. Then a 23-year-old named Dave said, hey, I think I can take the top producers in every company, let them keep 100% of their commission, and he kicked everyone's ass. He rolled up into Austin and almost put a 24-year-old in business in 1984 named Gary Keller. And so he's like, okay, how do I compete with RE/MAX and create something different? Where he created the cap. So it was the same economics, cap and split, and then he had a profit share. And then Keller had this massive growth. Where Keller smoked Lineker was he bred top producers. So Dave just, you guys know the term total addressable market, TAM? So if you look at any business opportunity, a restaurant, a real estate sales business, or a technology, you have to see what's the total market I can capture. And then you look and see somebody got 3%, 5%, 10%. So Dave ran out of humans, right? In the US, they're at like 42,000. Keller still has 136,000 because they built this coaching platform called Maps. I'm an example. I was born and raised in the Keller system, and then he grew me to be the #1 agent in the world because he had this educational platform. So the middle, so brand first, flat fee, I believe the middle section, and again, Dave gets the credit for inventing it, but I think that's where Keller, RE/MAX, Real, we all sit, and we are agent first, brand second. So my interpretation, I can only answer it as myself. I believe I am a platform that empowers entrepreneurs to build whatever size dream they want, right? And that's the pieces that I look through and make decisions. Because I also understand I have like 5, maybe 6 avatars I serve, right? I have my top 10 teams last year, 4 of them sold over 1,000 homes in 12 months. Number 10 did 800 transactions, right? But I also have lots of agents that sell 8 homes a year. I have some that do attraction, most don't, right? Some love the virtual world, which I don't think is that cool, but some love it. Others want to call them cell phone. Others want to chat with AI, right? So I think and by the way, this is how you should look at your business. Like the very first call when you were interviewing a prospect, say, hey, excuse me, sir, how do you like me communicate with? Right? Like what happens if you call a Gen Z person right now? They'll send you a voicemail and go, what's up? Right? And if you call repeatedly, they're going to go, oh, this is cringe. Right? But if you do that with someone who's 70, and you text someone who's 70, what's going to happen? I mean, they might not even see it for 3 days. And they think you're unresponsive. Right? So I think companies of the future, and I'll just go zoomed out other than real estate, it's like, understand the customer you serve at the deepest level. Understand you cannot serve all of them. I very openly say, look, if you want Class A space in this county, I'm not your guy. Or I have to charge you like, 90-10 split with no cap. You're gonna pay me $200 grand. My cap is 16, it's virtual. The difference you say with me, you can go buy one because my avatar is the entrepreneurial agent. By the way, there's no right or wrong. And I think agents, that's the best example. My wife's the keynote speaker. One of her best friends is a Douglas Sullivan. She comes to our house. I'm highly offended that she's still there. But she's there, and it's okay. She'll always be there. And she believes that she needs that brain to sell the houses she can sell. I philosophically disagree with her. But that's okay. That's life. More questions?
We have one over here and then we'll have to wrap up. Oh, one here too.
How do you see the next 3 to 5 years with all the different merger and acquisition going on here now?
I'll repeat the question.
Okay. With having different agent counts, the transaction counts, the volume, and how it's going to affect us going out to do business with just having people merging together?
Yeah, the question is, how do I think the M&A that's happening is going to affect your guys' ability to field? So, one thing is that size matters for distribution, reach, and a very real example is if you were a 30-person independent, you couldn't pick up the phone and do a deal with Google in 8 hours like I do. Right? Like my size gives me leverage to get people on the phone to listen to me. And most of the time, like if an AR does something and I disagree, I publicly disagree, and then contradict them, and they normally change their mind. So there is real size and scale. But, and the big but here is 99% of what you guys do, I don't think it actually matters. I bet you if you were to do a survey of everyone you've ever put in a home, they can't remember or care where you did your license. They care about Will, they care about JM, they care about Todd, they care about Christine, they care about Eric. They care about how you treated them, how you served their needs, the phone, how you made sure their windows were clean. Like, it's those things that you deliver through the human experience